Good evening, everybody. Or I guess good morning, as it is now 4:13 a.m. After 220 plus hours, I have finally finished all of the main story of Crimson Desert. So this is going to be my review. Um, I love this game. You know, for as much as like some of the bugs and some of the not terrible, but I didn't care for the duo minigame and the cards. Um, I love this game. You know, the world is seamless. You can literally run from one end to the other without ever encountering a loading screen. So long as you don't fast travel. You know, Bethesda wishes that the creation engine was this good. I mean, entering houses without loading screens, and I mean, and look at this. Look at this world. It is just it's fucking gorgeous. I really like the combat too. There are some issues with combat. My main one is I don't have enough arrows, but the fact that my L2 is basically bound to the bow. So I do kind of wish that the bow had its own weapon slot like all my other weapons so that you didn't have any overlap with that. But it's not really the end of the world. It gets a little finicky in the midst of like crazy combat, but again, and speaking of just the combat, I love the combat in this game. I carved a bloody fucking swath through thousands upon thousands of enemies. And now with the reblockade, I can just continue to do so. There are a lot of really, really good quests for like combat and lots of enemies, but one of my favorite ones has to be when Hernand and Calphade basically went to war. And you help them by like raising the banners for morale and just oh, there were so many enemies. It's one of the regrets I have about this blind run is that I never got or never I say never got. I never recorded that specific one. And I really wish I had. I do plan on eventually doing a second playthrough, and when I do, I'm going to do it on hard mode, and I will make sure to record that, because it was just... The sheer scope of that battle was so incredible. It's still one of my favorite parts of the MSQ. Now, a lot of people complain about the story, and I can see why. It does feel kind of disjointed. And while I do know about like the whole when you finish all of the, because I'm at like 35 or 36 out of 40 for Abyss Gates. Not Abyss Gates, but like the Abyss Worlds, realms, maps, puzzles, Abyss puzzles. That's the word I want. Um, I technically know, but I'm going to act like I don't just for and give my one of the biggest complaints I saw was that, or I saw, what I've heard is that Cliff is kind of emotionless. Now, I don't know about you, I'm a complete fucking nerd, so I read a lot of light novels, manga, and manhwa, the Korean manga. They're comics all around, whatever. Now, in overpowered or one-man army main characters, one of the tropes that you see a lot in South Korean stories specifically is the more power they gain, the less of their humanity retains. Now, Cliff, and spoilers, just for anybody who doesn't want to, um, Cliff dies and wakes up in the abyss, pulled there from or by Alustin and White Crow. Now, dying and then realizing that the world is so much bigger than you originally thought when it comes to powers and things like that changes a person. So I kind of get why they had Cliff's voice actor basically be emotionless and answer almost sociopathic. His answers are almost sociopathic with the lack of emotion. Or, not sociopathic, apathetic? I think both technically work. Because he doesn't have a lot of emotion behind it, and I think that fits with the South Korean tropes of an overpowered main character. The more time goes on, and the more power he gains, and the more insane enemies that he fights, he loses a little bit of himself. I think that's one of the reasons why Alustin and White Crow tested him in the beginning, to see if he could still fight the good fight while basically being an emotionless, strong bastard. And I'm okay with that. A lot of the main storytelling in this game is told with the world itself. The NPCs talking, the actual, world around you, and, there's definitely a good chunk of show, not tell. In the sense of, the environment around you and how things work. While I suck at them, I do really, really enjoy the Abyss puzzles. Shout out to Dan Allen Gaming for carrying my ass through a bunch of those, because I'm lost half the time when it comes to those. I'm a combat junkie, and I'm a lore junkie. Puzzles really aren't my forte. But if you love them, you're like my buddy. My buddy loves the Abyss puzzles because that's his jam. The music, listening to it even now, it's so good. And the game is visually beautiful. I mean, pets and like my little Abyss cat, who I named after one of my IRL cats, Shroud, little Shroodle. I mean, I've got boars and ibexes and white bears and a legendary. There's a fucking dragon that you can fly on. A fucking dragon. Like, how cool is that? It is just, it's fucking epic. It's absolutely fucking epic. Now the bad, we'll start with Blackstar here. Blackstar's got a really wonky hitbox. The flight controls are a little weird. The dodges are a little strange. But again, Pearl Abyss has been putting out so many, Pearl Abyss has been putting out so many frequent updates that I'm sure eventually some of this stuff will get patched. Because it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like I said, the bow being bound to a specific key instead of being its own weapon slot. Some of the end game bosses are a little... Some are really fucking epic. Like, I mean, even Umbra. Umbra was an epic fight. My biggest complaint is that it's buggy and a little broken. It's not that it can't be beat, but it took several attempts. The quest before that, where you have to destroy the ultimate weapon, same thing. I had to reset probably 10, 12 times before it would actually work, because Blackstar kept getting basically driven into the ground. He'd spawn with almost no health. That kind of thing. Again, not the end of the world, but I definitely let the salt flow a little bit, because it's super late and I wanted to finish everything, and I just felt like the game was hindering me with its bugs. In my over 200 hours of playtime, I think I've had a handful of crashes, which for a game this large is completely fucking unheard of. No, Blackstar, you can go away, buddy, okay? You are cool, but the constant flapping makes my head hurt. So yeah. There are bugs. There are definitely some glitches. For anyone who's curious, I'm running an RTX 2080 Ti and a 5950X. And I have 128 gigs of DDR4 RAM. You know, my rig is a fucking beast. That's why I named her Inanna. And even then, it's fucking cool. It's really fucking cool. So even the things that frustrate me or make me a little salty, I still would recommend this game to anybody who wants to play it. And I mean, it's got everything. You can do arm wrestling. You can do rock, paper, scissors with kids. You can get into, like, fist fighting, Fight Club style arenas. You want sword and board, dual blades, two-handed sword, axes, bows, guns. I mean, just, there's so much. Spears. Spears are crazy broken. I say broken, just overpowered. I thought I was going to get walled, because there is I will say, I'll go back to a little complaint. I've invested so much time into Cliff, and then the story just kind of forces you to play Unka and then Damien. I don't really care for Unka. A little too slow, a little too clunky. I am a tank, and a tank main, and he is technically tanky, but trading hits in this game isn't really smart. Whereas Damien, she is... I gave her the Soul Spear, which you can't upgrade the Soul Spear, and you can't put sockets into it, or Abyss Gears into it, because it has no sockets. She fucked up Bastier, whatever. He's a bastard. She fucked him up with the Spear's counter ability, and apparently she's got a special counter ability, which just... So, Damien, way better than Unka. I think Unka needs a little bit more. His Ludwig fight wasn't terrible. I think it took me, like... I think I failed twice and then opted to basically go gear him up a little bit. I didn't upgrade his weapons a ton, and I gave him a whole bunch of lightning resist gear, or Abyss gear is in them. And that basically just trivialized his fight. It was basically, I light and heavy attacked him to death. That was it. Part of me kind of wishes that you could pick whether or not to play Cliff, Unka, or Damien from the get-go. I think that would be really, really cool. I'd also, potentially in the future, I know they had talked about it, I would like to see some kind of, like, seamless co-op. I would love to be able to play this with my buddies. Whether we're all Cliff or we each have to pick one, I'm not sure. But I think it would be really, really cool. Again, combat is awesome. I love a lot of the abilities. You know, I didn't do the Infinite Arrows build because I just did not feel like saving and reloading until I got the Infinite Arrows 3. I swapped to Faded Shadow because it was a little extra attack compared to the Chill Fallen Sword. But Shadow Claw, Ground Surge, and Crit Rate 3 has basically been my main build paired with Howling Chaos and some Guard Stam cost. And then Darkbringer was Graysoul, Howling, Crow's Pursuit, and it drained Spirit and Stamina. Now, I would probably swap those out for more crit rate at this point, because using Focus is just incredibly strong when it comes to regenning. But with a suboptimal build, I still crushed this game. So it's, for me, I don't think you need to min-max. Now, I'm on normal mode. I did not put it on easy because I'm not that way. I will eventually do a hard mode playthrough. I technically already have it started. I have a save right here where I ran and got very specific pieces of gear early on, including the Soul Spear. I figure with that character, I'll focus more on spear, dual weapons, and fists. Hold on, excuse me. I need to cough and drink some water. All in all, even with the issues I have with this game is my game of the year. Maybe a little change if I play like Pragmata or Blood of the Dawnwalker. But for right now, it's been a while since a game has given me this feeling. A lot of people have attributed it to something like Skyrim or the Legend of Zelda, the open world ones. I don't remember which one. I know Tears of the Kingdom is the most recent one, I believe. I forget the one previous. Excuse me. For me, this was like the original Morrowind, the original Oblivion for Elder Scrolls. Bethesda games, as much as I call them Bugthesda now because the creation engine is just a buggy, shitty mess, I have a lot of nostalgia for those games, and this game really captured that. You know, a lot of people... I love FromSoft games. Bloodborne is my favorite game of all time. Elden Ring is a flawed masterpiece, but a masterpiece nonetheless. And a lot of complaints in Elden Ring were when you go exploring and then you'd find some like hidden cove and the piece of loot that was there was like, some mushrooms or something. That never bothered me because for me it was more about the journey. This game really doesn't have that problem. You explore and there is loot hidden fucking everywhere. In some of the most random places where, I'm a guy who, when I played the original Dark Souls, when I realized that there were illusory walls, I went back through every area I had been and rolled into every fucking wall until I discovered them all. This game scratches that itch in the sense that, with the exception of like the boundaries of the world, if you go there or if you see it, you can generally go there. And all of the different traversal techniques, the double jump, the force palm to throw you up in the air, the glider, the Axiom Force, like winch thing that allows you to kind of swing like you're George of the Jungle, like all of that stuff was just, it made traversal incredible. Very early on, when I was just wandering around and exploring the game, I want to say I came to the Spire of Ringing Truth. Yeah. Near the Skull of Stone area. I hadn't even like really done much of the main story, and I saw and was like, I have to fucking climb that thing. And I did. I have pictures actually from basically standing on top of it and looking over the world. And oh god, I will wax poetically forever if you let me about this world. It's beautiful. And while graphics aren't everything, when you're talking about a like action sandboxy kind of game, the world is just some regions are too cold, some are too hot, some are just right. And I mean, there's snow biomes and desert and swamps and plains, and I love this game. I really do. Also, at this point, I would consider it a flawed masterpiece right alongside Elden Ring for just open world and just a lot of fun. The story will seem disjointed and disconnected, but there's a reason for that, and you will learn that once you you basically finish the game and then do all of the Abyss puzzles, clear all 40 of them, and then you go back to the very first one. And you'll be able to get to the third floor and get some serious lore drops. Now, like I said, I know about it because it was spoiled for me. It happens. Probably shouldn't have read the comment sections, but, you know, it is what it is. So I won't go into detail. Go up there and read those things, because they are fucking phenomenal. So yeah, if you want a game where you can explore, and around every corner you seem to turn, you'll be able to find hidden things and good loot and good gear and stuff to help you respawn, and I mean, stuff to help you pickpocket or tame mounts or ride faster or better. I mean, it just, the possibilities are endless. And if you're like me, who likes to, you know, pack a fucking fat bowl and wander around and harvest or minerals and trees so you can upgrade your gear and kill animals for their small bones and their hides in order to upgrade your rings or your necklaces and your armor. I mean, all of that. There was one day where I didn't do anything other than wander the map and harvest everything I came across. And I legit lost probably 10 hours doing that. I was looking for bloodstone, and I only knew like 2 or 3 areas at the beginning. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to wander, and I'll harvest what I harvest. And I mean, it just, this game scratches a lot of itches, and I don't, it's just, it's a great game. It's a great game. It does still have its issues. Like I said, some stuff, there are definitely some bugs, especially some of the later main story quests, but to be honest with you, that doesn't negatively affect my final rating, which I've been rambling on for a while. It's late. I'm exhausted. So my final verdict is I give this game an 8 to 8.5 out of 10. And if they fix and patch and keep updating it at the rate they have, because Pearl Abyss has been kicking fucking ass at just constantly updating and fixing bugs, and I would easily say this is a 9 to 9.5 easily. And in another year after patches, it very well will be a 9 to a 10. Just from the sheer amount of things you can do and all the different skills, it just, oh. So yeah, that's my review for Crimson Desert. Hopefully my particular madness rambling is something you enjoy. So, I hope you all have a good one. And if you haven't got this game, I hope this review sells it for you and you do pick it up. Yes, it's okay, little Strudel. GG's, everybody. Have a good one. If you enjoyed this review, throw me a like or a subscribe, maybe a comment or a hype. I'll catch you guys later, okay? Toodles!